talk to me about this situation with Sarah. I thought it was nothing wrong with her making a GoFundMe page. I thought it was smart. I talked about, look, if all you people out there talking about this for fighter pay, well, here's your chance to help with a fighter and help them get to that next level, hopefully, and stuff. So I think, hey, Jake Paul, way to go for giving her $5,000. But let me hear what you have to say, Mr. Josh Thomson, since you've been in this situation. You know what it's like to be that fighter that hold it. You were getting how much money when you started? Because I think you were fighting in the UFC about that time that poor Chael was making $2,000 and $2,000.
Chael was after me, like 5 years after me.
I know that.
I was making $2,000 and $2,000. I made $2,000 and $2,000 for my first fight in the UFC. I actually made $2,000 and $2,000 to fight in the WFA against Rob McCullough. So I had that fight, and then I made 2 and 2 to fight in the UFC. I made 4 and 4. It was 4 and 4, and then I was supposed to make 8 and 8 to fight Yves Edwards when I lost. So look, I don't know the full situation. Is she married? Does she have kids? Is she single? Where does she live? Like all those things play a factor. Look, I lived in the Bay Area making 2 and 2, which wasn't a lot, and I also had a full-time job. So I was doing that to help myself get by to train. So I'd go to work at 5 a.m., get done by 2:30, get to AKA after some food and, and some shower and get to the gym. And I'd be there at like, say 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I'd be there all day. I'd be there all night, I should say, the rest of the night until about 9:30 at night. And, I couldn't afford a lot. I mean, that's really what it was. But look, the times have changed. Like the level of competition has changed, but a lot of it has to do with money management. And that's why I say, I don't know her situation. I don't know if you're entering into the UFC now making 12 and 12, like Chael had said, I don't know what the fighters are making right now. I believe it is that 10 and 10 or 12 and 12. It's around that range, I think, for your first fight. But is it the same for females? That's what I don't know. Is that what it is for males? Is it the same for females? Is it even on the male female pay? I don't know that. So I'll have to look into that, to be honest.
I think it depends upon certain fighters and what they're bringing. One's coming off of.
No, I'm talking about what entry level. Entry level, what is the entry level?
And you got ones coming in off of the Tough Show. There's a specific contract for that. You got ones coming in off of the Dana White series, which she came in off of. There's a specific scale for that. People need to understand, you're taking that fight in something like the Contender Series, knowing if you sign that contract because you want to go to the UFC, this is what you're making right now, and that's your choice. No one forces you to sign that contract. No one forces you. But what do you think about what Chael is saying?
Well, look, I'm going to go back to what you just said. No one's forcing you to sign that contract. John, you and I have been called all these names, throughout our show, because you think we're bagging on the UFC, and I'm not bagging on the UFC. My point is to, what's your name, Sarah?
Yep.
Yeah, my point to Sarah is, I know you wanted to be in the UFC, and like you said, you came off the Contender Series. John said, you knew the contract that you signed. You knew what you were getting yourself into. Maybe I haven't seen you fight. I'm sure you're phenomenal. You made it to the UFC. You're in the show. You're under contract, but you're under that Contender Series contract. And I can tell you from the experience of listening to the guys that I know that were all on the Ultimate Fighter contract, it was shit. And so I can't imagine your contract is much better. It was like some of the guys didn't get paid unless they fought when they were on that 8 weeks. So that's why like Koscheck is like, no, I'm fighting every week. So because he made $5,000 a fight. So he's like, no, I'm fighting every week. Everyone's like, hey, who do you want to fight? He's like, I'm going to fight whoever, because Koscheck always wanted to fight because he wanted the money. And so with her, I don't know the situation. Is she married? Does she have kids? That takes up your paycheck a lot.
No.
And if she's not those things. Okay, where does she live? Does she live in LA? Does she live in the Bay Area? Does she live in Manhattan? Does she live in areas that are fucking super expensive? Because if she does, maybe start thinking about relocating to a place that's not expensive, like American Top Team, or I don't know, someplace where like you're in Florida. Go to Sanford MMA. Like there's no taxes there. It's whatever. You're saving a little bit of money here and there. I mean, and you have good camps there. You have plenty of females that are there. Like you've got areas that there's a lot of good fighters in that are cheaper to live in. It's all about money management. And look, I'm not going to knock her in the terms of what she needs to do to get money. GoFundMe, have at it. I think it's a brilliant idea. If someone wants to willing to help her, that's what that's for. Set up a GoFundMe page, and someone wants to donate money to her, have at it, man. But at the end of the day, you made the choice to sign that contract. And so when you did, and I get it, people were like, oh, you should be paying more. She knew what she was getting herself into. And I'm not trying to take Chael's side. I'm not. Chael, he's got a point a little bit too. He can be right and be a shill at the same time. I love me some Chael. I love me some Chael. But it's true, though. I mean, she's got to learn how to manage her money. And if people want to donate, cool. But in terms of what the UFC has done in terms of increasing pay, they've done a good job based off of their profit margins. But could they be paying more? Abso-fucking-lutely. Come on. I'm not going to sit here and say they couldn't, but I'm also not going to bag on them because these fighters know what they're getting themselves in. They signed the contract. You knew that's what you wanted. That you knew that's what you were going to make. If you didn't like it, I always run back to, you didn't have to go there. Everyone's so adamant about, like, I'm going to be in the UFC. I'm going to prove myself so I can get there. That's great. I love that idea. I think it's wonderful. If you guys want to do that, great. But why don't you do it on the lower shows where they're paying you pretty much like about the same, you know, or get onto another show, like go into the PFL or go into Bellator, or go into One or Ryzen or whatever and make some money there. And look, and those guys and females sometimes will end up. Watanabe was over in Japan. She's now with us, you know, in Bellator. God, what's the kid name from Mike Swick's Cape? Something Cape. He fought in Ryzen. It was successful there.
Starts with an M.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway, so he won. I think he won, or he was in the finals. I think he won the tournament in Ryzen. Then he went from there. He went to the UFC. Like it's like if you're winning, like I've said this 1,000 times, winning solves everything. If you win in all the organizations you go to, the UFC will want you. I don't like when young fighters are so adamant they have to go to the UFC and they sign those horrible contracts for a long duration of time and they have no money, John.
But it's the same. Yeah, it's Manel Cape.
Manel Cape. There you go.
Manel Cape. But it comes down, it's no different than a kid leaving high school to play football, going to college. You want to get to that next step, and fighters are looking and saying, this is what's going to make me. If I make it to the UFC, they're not looking at the finances. They're not looking at where they're going to make more money. They're looking at where they want to be. And that's understandable. It's totally understandable. And, you know, as you say, love me some Chael. You know, and Chael, he's right about they've increased their money. They have. And I talked about this when I was last week with Sarah, talking about, look, let's just be as honest as we can be. Nobody at this time, besides, you know, people that are friends of Sarah and her family, are going to pay to watch Sarah Alpar fight. She's going to have to prove herself. She's going to have to move herself up in those standings and in that ability of the rankings to where people are now saying, oh, she's got an opportunity to fight so-and-so, and that can move her in towards championship status or top 10 status. That's when people are talking about you. That's when the UFC will start to pay you more money. There's no reason for them to look and say, oh, we're going to pay you a bunch of money, because you aren't doing anything for them right now. They are actually doing it for you. They're giving you the platform for you to perform well, and make people now interested in who you are and what you do and how you fight. And that's, in a lot of ways, I'm going to say it's invaluable. So they are giving you something. Yes, they're not giving you a lot of money. You've got to work towards getting that money. Now, like you said, the whole point, you know, I said, look, if she gets 1,000 people to give her $5, that's $5,000. That's a month easy, you know, probably two. At $30,000, you know, that we know that she got, that's at least 6 months that you can train hard, work towards your next fight, put on an incredible performance, and now move yourself up to where the UFC is going to want to pay you more money. But again, you're the one that came in on that Dana White Contender Series. You're the one that decided, I'm going to sign this contract. people can't complain. Once you put, I've always said, don't sit there and complain about a contract that you signed. You signed it. No one forced you. They didn't put a gun to your head. Fight out the contract and then find out how much you're worth. I don't agree when people sign a contract and then say, I'm not going to finish this. You're the one that signed it.
Yeah, no
one forced
that
you.
wasn't her argument though, John, right? Her argument was she just needs money to get to the fights.
No. That was not her argument at all. But a lot of people, when they get into, I'm not, I should be making more. Yeah, we all should. How's that?
Yeah. No, I want people to understand, the younger fighters to understand. The UFC is not going anywhere. They're going to be there. Don't waste your younger years. Like, don't waste those younger years trying to get there super fast. When you get there and you flop out, you're not going to get the money you deserve then either. So you're going to leave the UFC saying, oh, you went there, but it wasn't a good run. So why rush it along? Fight in the smaller shows or fight in other promotions that you feel will help get you there. But the bottom line is, you just got to fight. You just keep winning.
Look at Yuri Prochaska. Look at what he did. There's your perfect example. Here's a guy, he could have gone to the UFC, said, nope, not going to do it yet. I don't think I'm ready for that. I can fight over here. I can get more experience. I can make money. That's what we're talking about. Sometimes, you've got to take a look and say, that is my end goal, but I'm not going to make this giant jump to get there and not do the things that I want to do. Let me be smarter in the way I get to that final goal. So, I'm not saying that Sarah's wrong. I'm not saying anybody's wrong. They want to go, but take a look at everything. I
just wonder, this is also the thing that I wonder though. Jake Paul is just doing what Jake Paul should be doing. He's bringing more attention to himself. He's sticking it to Dana, but he's bringing more attention to himself, which gives him more followers, just makes him more money. Brilliant idea. Yep. I'm not going to discredit what he's doing. Even if I don't like Poodle Hair Pony, I don't like him, but I don't have anything against him. It's just, I like to say that because I know it gets his base riled up. But with her, I just hope the UFC doesn't hold us against her, because we do know that there's been some grudges that have happened throughout the sport over the years, but even though people are going to say I'm not talking bad about them. The UFC does a lot of great stuff. The UFC Institute, the Performance Institute, is on hand for all the fighters to use. Brilliant idea. I think it's wonderful. Also, too, anytime there's something that's really wrong with one of their athletes, if you call up Dana, you call up someone there, say, hey, I need help with this. I need somebody like maybe a specialist or someone to see me. They provide, you guys, let's not forget, they provide that insurance. That insurance covers you while you're training for any big, large injuries. $1,500, I believe, is what it was when I was there. It was $1,500, and it covered any surgery I needed. I had 2 surgeries during that time.
It goes up to $50,000, right?
I believe so. None of my surgeries were that much. It was like 30 to 40,000. But still, regardless, I had backup insurance as well that I paid for.
And you talk about that PI. It's not only the training; they will actually feed you in the morning and lunch.
That's incredible.
You're gonna have to figure out how to get your own dinner. But when I was, walking through there, they would actually feed the fighters. Fighters didn't have to pay for it.
That's phenomenal. See, that's like you're cutting a lot of your expense there. I think that's why a lot of people are moving to Vegas now, especially the ones that live in the ones that fight in the UFC. I know the AKA was talking about opening a gym there because it makes it easier for all the fighters to just go ahead and live at the Performance Institute, and start basically like train there or eat there or do whatever it is, and have their recovery sessions there, all that stuff. So, who knows, man? I just look. I'm not taking her side, but I'm happy for her that she was able to get some money. But she did sign the contract. I don't think she did anything wrong. I hope the UFC doesn't hold it against her. I think Chael has a very valid points in terms of fighter pay has gone up a lot. Since him and I have been doing it, but and there could be some room though. I think there is some room for some gains. They said like it's what. They're getting 16% of the pie. Am I correct? 16 to 17%, 17%?
17, 18, somewhere.
I feel like you got to get it up to the 20 to 22%, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
everyone's like, oh, it should be 50. Look,
no,
let's slow it down right now. Okay. Like I'm all for fighter pay and I want the fighters to have the best, but you got to gradually do this, and it's not as if the UFC doesn't provide a ton of other things for their athletes. They do. It just sucks that they're all in Vegas, for the people that don't train there. But it's kind of smart though. There's no income tax there. People can fight there, train there, not have to pay their state income tax. So I think it's a good idea for a lot of these athletes to, if they are going to move, you know, or go to Florida where Sanford MMA is, or American Top Team or whatever. But there's plenty of gyms, top gyms that are out there that are phenomenal, you know. So hopefully, I don't know how she's going to make some changes, but to keep some money in her pocket.
100% agree.